Well, it's now time for movie reviews once again here on Pure 24/7 Radio. I'm very pleased to be here with once again Andy Godfrey, our movie reviewer and film critic extraordinaire. Good to see you, Andy. How are you?
Hey, Nathan. Good to see you, and good to know you're well. It's great to be back with you. And we're experiencing the hottest days of the year, aren't we? So
Yeah,
what better time to go and sit in a dark room, get out the sun, and at least cinemas are air conditioned.
some small mercy in that. That would be difficult.
Yeah, exactly. If they weren't air conditioned, boy, I think we'd be in trouble. But I
Yes.
mean, as you know me, I would sit in a cinema 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If I could.
Yes. Well, it's great to see you again, and I hope you've had a good week so far. We have
Yeah, not
got
bad, not bad. It's been a bit of a varied week, but we're trusting in the Lord and moving forward, and as we all have to do. And that God is so
yeah,
good. So also
absolutely
need to see some films, so that's always a bonus.
brilliant. Well, where do you want to start then?
I want to start with the new film that's coming out today on Friday, the 2nd of May, because this is going to be one of the biggest films of the year. This is a new blockbuster that's come out, but I've already seen it. But it is out fresh in cinemas today. So this review is bang up to date, possibly the first ever review of this on the radio on the day it comes radio station on the day it comes out. So
Wow.
that's good news, isn't it? Okay, so this is a new film from Marvel. It's a comic book hero film, and it's called Thunderbolts. And basically, now I'm not a big comic book hero movie fan. I'm not up to speed with all the ins and outs of the Marvel universe. There were people in the screening that I was at watching this who clearly were. They were going, oh, and I was going, what? Um, so I'm not completely up to speed with all the ins and outs of the Marvel universe, but this is a follow on from the Avengers movies. Now, the Avengers were, people like Captain America, Iron Man, the Hulk, and so on. The Avengers have gone. The Avengers were killed off. And we now have a new team called the Thunderbolts, who are the new Avengers. And basically, a lady in the CIA has got a secret laboratory where she's trying to breed a superhuman being, a human being with superpowers because the Avengers have gone. However, it turns out her motives aren't exactly pure. Her motives are that she actually wants to build an army of superhuman beings with incredible powers. They can fly, they can, shoot lasers at their fingertips and all the rest of it. Because she wants world domination, basically. She's kind of after power. We have a team of sort of minor superheroes who've been around in the sort of, but they've been in the shadow of the Avengers. They're minor superheroes who she tries to kill off very near the beginning of the film because they are starting to see through her plans. She fails. She does create a superhuman being, but that's all I'm going to say about the plot. Because this, for me, was a really, really, really good Marvel film. I'm not into Marvel films, as I say. I'm not into superhero comic book films. But this had a really good plot. And one of the things that this does is it goes down quite a dark, it's a 12A certificate, but it goes down quite a dark road where she creates this super being and he is able to make others see back into their past and confront things that have happened in their past. And it goes down quite a dark road. It goes down quite a dark road of introspection. It goes down a dark road where the new superheroes coming through are forced to confront things that happened in their past that maybe turn them into the people they are. And these were not good things. One of them had to witness her sister being shot, for example. And she goes back in time and witnesses her sister being shot. And this has kind of forced her to become a superhero, to become a fighter for justice and truth and righteousness and so on. It is a really interesting film. There's a very intriguing line where the baddie, this CIA lady who's trying to create an army of supervillains or super beings, she says, righteousness comes with power. Righteousness comes with power. Now, I'm not sure I agree with that. That said, as Christians, we believe that Christ was the only righteous person who ever lived. And of course, he's the king of the universe. So it was a really interesting line. I found this incredibly entertaining. I went in thinking, oh, it's over 2 hours long. It's 2 hours 6 minutes long. I went in thinking another superhero movie. We've just had the latest Captain America, which had Harrison Ford turning into a monster at the end of the film, playing the President of America. And I went in thinking this is going to be more of the same. This is going to be smashy, bashy, crashy, people getting beaten up, houses being destroyed, bad guy trying to take over the world, goodies stop him, you know? It's not. It's really not. It's got a bit of that. All that stuff is in there. Otherwise, I don't think it would be a Marvel movie. But it's got a lot more, particularly this stuff where we go into the past and our heroes are forced to confront issues in the past that have turned them into the people they are. And at times it's quite slow. I mean, the first half hour, we're talking about an action movie. We're talking about a big summer blockbuster. I mean, this is scheduled to be one of the big summer blockbusters of the year. It won't be the biggest, and I'll tell you what that will be in a minute. But and it's really slow the first time, and I thought this isn't what I was expecting, and that intrigued me. That got me into the story. That gave me time to breathe. That gave me time to get to know the characters, so that by the time the smashy action, crashy stuff comes at the end of the film, I genuinely was caring for them. I genuinely started to care for the characters because the film had taken its time in introducing the characters to me. So I sat there pleasantly surprised at how much I was enjoying it. I went thinking, oh, I'm going to be bored. Same old, I know what's coming. And actually, Marvel have done a really good job. So I should say for people who are going to see it, it's a 12A certificate. So maybe, kids will want to go and see it. It's the latest superhero movie. There is a scene halfway through the end credits. There is another very significant scene right at the end of the credits. Now, I know these days sitting through credits can be a bit of a drag, because they go on and on and on. And, you get the name of the guy who made the tea and you get the name of the guy who wiped the floor and, that kind of thing, which is fair enough. But stay, folks, right to the very, very end, because there is a very hefty, significant scene at the end, which is setting up the next film. And I always come out of these things thinking, oh, there'll be another one and I'll go and see it and fine. I actually came out of this one thinking, I'm really looking forward to the next one. That's really good. That looks really good. I've enjoyed this. This has been a really good film. So it's a 12A certificate. It's called Thunderbolts. It's going to be one of the big blockbusters of the year. It's scheduled to be one of these films that they put out in the summer. Called a summer blockbuster. I mean, the big one's going to be in a couple of weeks' time, Nathan, when we'll talk about Mission Impossible. The last Mission Impossible film is coming out, and I've written an article actually about the Mission Impossible films for the Pure Media, the next Pure Media magazine.
Awesome!
So I've written an article on that. The Tom Cruise films. That's going to be possibly the biggest film of the year, I think, and they're already selling tickets, and it doesn't come out till the 21st of May, and here we are only on the 2nd of May. So, but look out for Thunderbolts. I thought it was really good. Just a couple of other films I saw at the cinema before we get onto some home viewing. The Accountant 2. So, 2019, a film came out called The Accountant. It was about a guy who does the accounts for the mafia. And he is also a sort of, what can we say? He is sort of a gunman himself. He's a fighter. He gets involved in some of the action. It was an action-packed thriller. But this guy does the accounts, basically, for the mafia. So we've now got The Accountant 2. And again, I was really, really surprised at the direction this took. I thought this was going to be all about gangs. The trailer implies it's going to be all about gangs shooting each other and, getting involved in gang warfare and crimes and all the rest of it. It actually turns out to be a film about this guy proving he's got a soft side to his heart. He actually does have a bit and rescuing with his mercenary brother, who's also a gunman, some kids from an orphanage on the Mexican border who are being trafficked. And I didn't expect that at all. And I went in thinking, oh, this is going to be another shoot 'em up film. It is a shoot 'em up film, but it slowly and surely develops into this story of two gunmen rescuing a group of children from an orphanage. And not from an orphanage, from actually a camp where they're being sex trafficked and so on. And I actually thought it was really good. It totally surprised me. I did not see the last half hour of the film coming at all. Even when I was watching the film, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be a big shootout between the good guys and the bad guys at the end. There isn't, because it's about rescuing these kids. So The Accountant 2, really good. I really enjoyed it. The only other one I saw at the cinema this week, Nathan, was a 15 certificate called Until Dawn, which is a bit of a horror movie based on a video game. Now, people who tell I don't play video games. I've never played a video game in my life. The only video games I've ever played was Super Mario Kart Racing with my daughter when she was young, and she would beat me every single time. I mean, I was halfway around the track by the time she'd finished, so she was great at it. Until Dawn is a bit of a horror movie. It's a group of kids who find a cabin in the woods. They all die in pretty nasty ways. They wake up, they die in the same pretty nasty ways. They wake up, they die in the same pretty nasty ways. Kind of like a Groundhog Day thing, really going on. It's not great. I talked to a friend of mine who loves the game, and he's played the game, and he went to see the film, and he enjoyed it. He thought it was good. He got a lot of the in jokes. He got a lot of the in references. I didn't, and frankly, I didn't care that I didn't, because take it or leave it. It's a thing that'll be on streaming next week, So those are three at the cinema. But Thunderbolts comes out today, so I saw an advanced screening. That will be the big one of next week.
Well, excellent. Yeah, I think I have seen snippets of that one, Thunderbolts,
Yeah.
circulating on social media and such places. It
Yeah,
does look quite good. You've seen some of those, like you say, the side characters that have been there throughout lots of the Marvel films, but not necessarily taking what's the word, the center stage, as it were.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And there are references to other Marvel films within it. There's actually a reference to the recent Harrison Ford film in it. There's a line. And yeah, you're absolutely right. But it surprised me in the direction it went, with this fantasy element of being able to go into your past and being confronted with bad things that have happened in your past. And it made me think. It did make me think, because I came out to cinema thinking, well, I know the person I am today, but what was it in my past that has shaped me? What has made me the person I am today? Yeah. What was it about my upbringing? What was it about my experiences as a young person, experiences as a teenager? It really made me think, actually, which is saying something for a super comic hero book movie, that if it makes you think, that's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. It's good to have thought-provoking films, and it's interesting that you say it starts a bit slower. But one thing with the Marvel films, you can pretty much always expect some kind of crucial scene right at the very end of the end credits, something tantalizing that lets you know what's going to happen in the next film. It's a very clever way of getting you to want to watch the next one.
It's a very clever way of getting you to sit through all the credits as well.
That too.
Yeah, and right at the end of this one, there is what amounts to really a trailer for the next one, and the words because this new team, the Thunderbolts, are the new Avengers, and the words "the new Avengers will return" appear on the screen. So do stay for that. It kind of intrigued me. I was good. I had already decided that whatever the next one is, I'm going back to see it. And then I saw this scene at the end of the film. I thought, yeah, definitely, they've done a really good. I was going to say bang up job, because with everything going smash bang, I mean, half of New York gets destroyed in this, and nobody, you know what it's like. All these buildings get demolished, nobody blinks an eye, But there must be hundreds of people in these buildings who have died, And
I know.
Nobody blinks an eye in these films, because it's just, and so half of New York gets blown up in this, but it's different. It felt different. It felt like a fresh approach.
That's good.
And I really, really enjoyed it because of that. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Awesome. So that's a few in cinemas, and I am looking forward to the next Mission Impossible. It's been long awaited, and it's unique because the last one was, in fact, it did state part one, which it's never done before in the Mission Impossible franchise.
So that's right. So that was called Dead Reckoning Part One. The new film, it's not called, I thought it was going to be called Dead Reckoning Part 2.
That seems logical.
It's not. It's called The Final Reckoning.
Okay.
Is the title of the new one. I had one problem with the last film. There was a scene which was shown again and again, and it was in the trailer, where he drives the bike up to the top of a cliff.
Oh yeah.
And down in the valley below, there's a train with the baddies in it, and one of his friends who's got to rescue. He drives the bike up to the top of the cliff and he jumps off with an attempt to land on the plane. My problem, and I've checked, and when I saw the film, I thought, did I really see that? And I went back and checked it out. The next time you see the bike, it comes through the window of a train sideways. How on earth did it do that? He jumps off the cliff, the bike's descending, but it comes through the window of the train sideways. No, just no, just no. And it comes through the window of the train at the exact second that the baddie's about to pull the trigger on his girlfriend, Tom Cruise's girlfriend. And you just go, no, sorry. So that was my only problem with the last film. But the Mission Impossible films have been complicated. They've been riveting. People have their favorites of the seven. I like the first one, the scene where he's robbing the vault and he's hanging from the ceiling, and that famous scene, which has been much, much copied in many films.
Iconic, really.
It's iconic. Yeah, exactly. There's a recreation of that in the new one. No spoiler because it's in the trailer. Three I thought was a bit weak. 4, 5, 6 I really enjoyed. 2, many people, many fans of Mission Impossible films have voted as their best. So there's been something for everybody in there. And of course, Tom Cruise famously does all his own stunts. But that's coming out on the 21st of May, and we shall report on it fully. I think it's coming out on a Wednesday, actually.
Oh, really?
So we'll be able to talk about it on the Friday, which would be great.
Brilliant. I look forward to it. Excellent. So are there just a couple at home, are there as well?
Just a couple at home. So I did go through the schedules and have a little look. Very, very topical at the moment because of what's happened with the Pope passing away. On Netflix, there is a wonderful, wonderful film called The Two Popes. And this is based on a true story. It stars Anthony Hopkins and Jonathan Pryce, two of our greatest actors. They play between them Pope Benedict XVI and Pope Francis, who has just died. And basically, the film is about a conversation that these two popes had, because we know that Pope Benedict XVI is the first pope in centuries to have given up the papacy before he passed away. He was still alive, but he said, I don't want to be pope anymore. He resigned from the position. And Pope Francis was the first pope to take on, well, his predecessor was still alive. First time it's happened in hundreds of years. It's just basically about the conversation between the two of them walking around the Vatican gardens. But it's fascinating. It's a few years old now. It's just turned up on Netflix. It is a fascinating, intriguing, enjoyable film that I really, really enjoyed when I saw it. I need to go back and see it again because a lot of theological stuff was discussed. A lot of life issues were discussed. It's called The Two Popes. It's on Netflix. Really, really, really recommend it as a really, really good watch. It might sound a bit boring, or two popes sitting down having a conversation in the Vatican garden. No, it's enthralling. It's interesting. It's intriguing. It's fascinating. You want to be there in the garden, and we feel like we are just as an observer. So that's really good. I also noticed streaming now is a film we talked about a few weeks ago called Dogman, which is an animated film. So I want to do something for everybody in the film reviews. So family cartoon, policeman and his faithful dog have an accident. They sew the head of the dog onto the body of the policeman. And we now have Dog Policeman, who is chasing the world's most fiendish villain who turns out to be a cat. And actually has a sign above his residence in the middle of New York saying, the world's most fiendish villain lives here. And you go, what? Well, why can't they find him? And this is a big neon sign. It's great fun. It's so silly. It's unbelievable. Buildings end up coming alive. All sorts of weird stuff happens. It's fun. Kids will enjoy it. You can sit down and watch it with your kids. I really, really enjoyed it. Um, Also, on TV, I just want to mention a couple of films on TV because it's bank holiday weekend, so people may have a bit more time on their hands. If you've never seen it, Lawrence of Arabia is on bank holiday Monday on TV. This is one of the most epic films ever made. Peter O'Toole plays Lawrence of Arabia, 1950s film directed by David Lean, who was a great filmmaker, made Bridge on the River Kwai and Oliver and Brief Encounter. It's a fantastic director, David Lean. I'm going to do a whole chapter on him in my next book because I'm going to do chapters on directors in the next book. And David Lean was just amazing. Lawrence of Arabia is one of those films that it's long. I mean, it's really, really, really long. But there's the most famous scene of all where they're in the desert and we see the sun rising in the distance, and Lawrence of Arabia comes out of the sun riding a camel across the desert. Beautifully shot scene, fantastic score, really worth watching. And then also on TV this week, and look out for it in the listings. One of the best science fiction films, not just of recent years, but of all time, called A Quiet Place. So the Earth has been invaded by aliens, and these aliens don't have eyes, but they see with their ears. They hear sound. They move towards sound. They're attracted to sound. So they're marauding aliens. They'll kill you, as soon as they grab hold of you. So the whole Earth has gone quiet. The whole Earth has gone quiet because if you make a sound, you attract the aliens that have invaded the Earth. We follow the exploits of one particular family. There's a little girl in the family who is actually played by a deaf girl, deaf actress. So she's doing sign language and obviously keeping quiet. It's one of the best science fiction films I have ever seen. It's one of the best science fiction films of recent times. It's called A Quiet Place. They made 2 more films in the series, which are also worth checking out. But Quiet Place is on terrestrial TV this week, as is another science fiction film called Nope, which is on Channel 4. This is about people living in the Midwest in America, in Texas, in the middle of nowhere, who starts to see aliens buzzing around. Why aliens always buzz around and people in the middle of nowhere is beyond me. They always did in the X-Files. Maybe it's because they don't want to be seen themselves. But Nope is a good film. So there's 3 to watch on TV, or 4 rather, or 5 actually. 2 Popes, really good, really intriguing. Dogman for all the family. Lawrence of Arabia, A Quiet Place, and Nope. So there is something for everybody again. And next Friday, I've already checked, there is a film on TV next Friday. And when we get to next Friday, I am going to be singing its praises. A little clue in the word singing. But there's a film on TV next Friday that I will be highlighting. It will be on our 3-in-1 as the #1 film to watch. So please look out for that. And again, Nathan, if anybody's listening and they want to email in and just tell me that I'm talking rubbish, or they agree with me on my assessment of any film, well, obviously we'd love to hear from people.
Yeah, absolutely. Let us know. Open up a discussion about this because, after all, film reviewing, as you say, is always a very subjective thing. I mean, what one person considers an epic classic, another might consider rather boring. On the other hand, somebody might love a particular genre, another person might not particularly enjoy it. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the film that I'm going to talk about next week, some people in my family hate it. I love it. 2001: A Space Odyssey is a film that divides our family. I think 2001: A Space Odyssey is an absolute classic. I think it's a brilliant, brilliant film. Every time it's on, my brother sends me a text that either says, I've just cut the lawn so I can sit back and watch the grass grow because it's more interesting than that film. Or I've just painted the door so I can sit back and watch the paint dry because it's more interesting than that film as well. And I get a message every single time that film is on. And I've been to the cinema to see it a couple of times, 2001: Space Odyssey. And I absolutely love it to bits. But, some people think it's the most boring movie ever made. And as you say, that's the great thing. We can agree to disagree. And on yesterday was the 1st of May, and on the film group I run on Facebook, we always vote on the 1st of the month for the best film of the previous month. So I've asked people to vote for the best film of April. And we will get people voting for films that I thought were rubbish. I voted for a film that other people will love, but some people say, Andy, why are you voting for that? And you're right, but it's fun.
Yeah.
This is what I wanted with my book. I actually wanted people to have fun with my book as well. And it was our great, great friend, Steve Legg, who said to me, well, in the back of your book, why don't you list your 100 greatest movies of all time? And I did. And if anybody gets the book, it's called Confessions of a Christian Film Critic. In the back, I've listed what I think are the 100 greatest movies of all time, not necessarily in order. And looking at it now, I would probably change a few things because new films come out as well.
Yeah. Or
you see films. But I did that at Steve's suggestion. And Steve was just great, obviously, as we know, making suggestions. And had so many people commenting more on that section of the book than any other section. Because how could you have Raiders of the Lost Ark at number one? It's not the greatest movie ever made. The fact of the matter is, Raiders of the Lost Ark is the greatest movie ever made. That's a fact. I mean, any other opinions? All opinions are welcome, but other opinions are wrong. And that section of the book just prompted more reaction than anything else.
It's funny, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. And do check out Andy's book. It's brilliant. I've read it myself. I even got an autographed copy, which is absolutely brilliant. It's Faith on Film.
Post to you, Nathan.
What's that?
I'll put one in the post to you.
No, I have got an autographed copy.
Oh, you've got an autograph. I thought you said you had. Oh, you got.
No, I have. Yes, we caught up at the gathering, and you gave me. She signed a copy for me, which was brilliant.
You can pray for me because I'm working on. I've set aside tomorrow to do some writing, and I'm hoping. I've done a couple of chapters of the new book. I'm hoping tomorrow to really get stuck in and do 3 or 4 chapters.
Yeah.
And what we did with the first book was in between each chapter, we had what we called an intermission.
Yeah.
It was a review that I'd written of a particular film. So what I want to do with this one is in between each chapter, we're going to have an intermission again, but it's going to be my favorite film directors.
Oh, interesting.
So Hitchcock, Spielberg, Billy Wilder. We'll do different Ridley Scott. We'll do different film directors in the new book. Yeah,
that sounds good. I look forward to it. So yes, that's Faith on Film, Confessions of a Christian Film Critic. And do let us know your thoughts on some of these films. Maybe you think Andy's absolutely right. It's on his thoughts on these films. Maybe you do think as he thinks something's rubbish or something's really good, but maybe you think the opposite. Let us know. Let's have some fun and debate it. But thank you so much, Andy, for bringing us movie reviews today, and I hope you enjoy your long weekend with the bank holiday.
Thank you, Nathan. I'm preaching at a church in Reading. Southcote Evangelical. If anybody's around in Reading on Sunday, pop in and say hi. That'd be great. We're going to do a little plug for Pure 247 Radio. And I hope you guys have a great weekend as well.
Thanks so much, Andy.
Pleasure.